I wish I had your reactions before, because
I know.
that's like the first time that those things happen. Like, oh my God, it put the directional on. Or,
Yeah. Be an ad. This is so crazy. So it'll just stay in this lane then?
No. So if I adjust the speed, and it comes up on people, it'll pass them. So it'll switch lanes to pass. See this blue line?
Yeah.
This is the full self-driving autopilot on highways, and it'll do. You can have different settings. Like you can have a setting where if they're going 2 miles an hour slower than you, it'll pass.
Okay.
Or 5 miles an hour slower than you, it'll pass. One of the things that you find is you're less concerned about how fast you're going when you have autopilot, because you don't care.
Right.
You're just kind of along for the ride.
You're along for the ride, and so that doesn't matter. It'll just do it. So if I ramp it to 67, it's going to go and try and find the fast lane.
Space to do it.
Yeah. Also, I can initiate lane change by turning the directional on, and then it does all the looking. You can see exactly what the car sees. If you try and initiate a lane change when there's a car in the way, here,
Does it rely only on cameras or on cameras and like sound or something?
So it has the parking sensors for really close,
right?
But mostly it's cameras.
Just cameras.
Yeah.
Would it tell you if the cameras are like, I don't know, like covered in salt or dirt? Or
Yes.
It'll tell you.
And that's a little bit of an annoyance because you're out someplace and it like takes away your driving features.
Yeah.
So I don't have it on I don't have it on high level of go fast, but so we'll get to next to this guy and I'll put the directional on, and that's what it won't do that until it clears.
It'll tell you no. Yeah.
And then when it clears, it'll just do it.
That's freaking wild.
Isn't that intense?
Yeah. I see what you mean though by like you have to kind of still pay attention because it gets a little wonky.
You got to babysit it a little bit.
There's a lot of babysitting, so well, I'll ask it to go home now.
That's crazy. So like I asked Ted when he was telling me about it if like you could like drink and then have it drive you home, and he's like, probably not. He's gonna pay attention a little.
Your judgment's still off.
You since it's actually in some cases you have to, like on the highway, I'm very used to the features that it has for the highway.
It's probably better on the
highway. So here it's gonna get off.
Right.
And it went red, and so it like that was a little kludgy.
Yeah.
But I'm very used to what I can trust about it on the highway.
Yeah.
But on the side streets, it's kind of a different.
It's a lot more variable.
It's a different thing.
Does it pick up like people?
Yep.
And like dogs?
Dogs.
Yeah.
There was a lady walking a dog across the street and it had the little dog walking.
Oh,
it was
no!
really weird. Like as an icon.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. It's kind of creepy, but it's cool.
So
Yeah,
a little
it was
bit.
like
That
a little...
freaks me out a little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and I have my hand on the wheel.
Yeah, I know.
And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to...
So is it fighting you for control right now?
No, I took it out.
Oh, okay.
So...
That's cool, though. Yeah, it has like a little extra.
So it's going to reroute. And once it reroutes... Actually, I could probably turn it on right now. Once it reroutes... so green... I'm intervening.
I told you to go.
Because... so that's an intervention, and I'm going to record it. But now it rerouted, so it'll take us the secondary roads going back. And this is where the beta exists, is for the secondary stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that highway stuff, they've had for years.
It's probably, it's a little easier for it to manage.
It's
like
so,
autopilot, basically.
that autopilot, I've had pretty much fully featured as you saw it, except for the lane change, since I bought the car.
Yeah.
And so here, I know that it's going to merge, so I'm asking it to change lanes. I think it should, but it doesn't. You'll be able to see the dog here. No dog.
I saw no, there was a little bit of a
slight
dog.
glimmer of a dog.
Didn't like. They couldn't see the gold.
Yeah.
Against the leaves.
Oh, wow. They even see the people. What? I see you on screen.
This is so strange.
I know, it's so weird. I
And
wouldn't trust it.
and my other car is faster than this.
Oh my God.
Wow!
That's what I really like about electric
Casey,
cars.
you definitely would love
Is,
this.
is just the
It was
These
so
cars
fast.
are
the instant
beasts.
acceleration. I've always watched the videos on the plaids.
It's
Those are
just
just insane.
it just feels so good. Now, when you get to around 3 seconds, 0 to 60, even for me, it starts to do uncomfortable things, like because it takes your intestines and actually
Pushes it
slams them
back.
against your ribs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can't. I think around 3.5 seconds, your passengers start to
A little uncomfortable.
not be happy. Yeah. So now this is going to be an unprotected left. Let's see how it does. Wow, that was aggressive.
That wasn't that bad, actually.
Well, so it saw far enough in advance, I guess, around that corner, but
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder what would have happened if someone was coming.
I generally tend to go a little bit further into the turning lane and then turn.
Yeah.
So that you can see around the
So
car.
you don't cut that person off.
And yeah, in case they
They come
Do
really
something.
far up, yeah. Still, though.
it's fun, isn't it?
It's so weird.
And
It's so weird, like, you're not
so
driving
quiet.
us. I know it is.
How do you think it would do, like, driving in New York City? I think it-
yeah, there are videos of people doing
Yeah.
it in San Francisco and New York City. So these little dots indicate that the car has a cold battery right now,
Okay.
which means with a cold battery, you're not getting
The
full power.
Okay.
Right.
So what you experienced is the car's is a
Kinda
cold
just
car.
warm it up,
Yeah.
So it's a lot more
Yeah.
when the battery's warm.
That's so cool.
And particularly when you're by yourself. I mean, so that's slow to me.
That's
like,
crazy!
It's just
That's
so
slow.
stupid.
It's
like
awesome!
It's like a bungee cord.
so
yeah,
let's see
it
if
just
it'll
goes. Like, it just goes.
let's see if it'll figure out to go left here. So it didn't. And I'm gonna call that out. And I'm intervening now because it was slowing down too much.
Oh, so you get to tell it when it kind of messes up a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little. So hey, this is.
So that goes to their like data system, and they can improve on it.
It's continuously improving.
It's
Okay.
learning.
From
it's
feedback.
Like
Right.
AI.
And
So
this
it
is why
learns.
other manufacturers are probably decades behind. Because Tesla has billions of miles.
Right.
Right.
And they could sell that information if they wanted to.
That information is allowing them to dramatically improve. So it's not really
Let's see.
sure what's going on here as
Right,
far
let's
as
see.
lanes.
Well, I think
Right, it's technically 2 lanes, but I guess it doesn't.
I even
There are
get
no
confused
lines.
here. There is no lines, and it goes into one. Did you have to do
So that's, I don't know if they can correct for that, but I'll send it.
that? Did you have to push it into the right
No,
lane?
no.
It
So
didn't?
if I do the steering at all, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
The steering goes
Turns
away.
off.
Oh, okay.
So
That makes sense.
So if I intervene on a steering perspective, you won't see the blue will go away.
Right. Oh my god.
There's a Y.
Yes,
Oh,
I've
that's
seen
what I was
that.
thinking.
So it's basically this car puffier.
And then there's a bigger one than that? The X?
There's a Model X, but that's $100,000.
Oh, okay.
And then there's charging, Free charging right there.
I'd
Free
love
charging in a
someone
lot of places in Rochester.
in Queens.
So you can just plug in. You can.
Just plug in and get free juice.
It's very nice.
And when you charge at home, it's like 10 cents a kilowatt, so it's super cheap. When we go on our road trip, it's like 30 cents a kilowatt. So so that was a little
Yeah, that was
spastic.
A little weird.
and because I had my weight on the hand, you know.
Are all of the chargers? But could you use like a Ford or Chevy Volt charger in a Tesla? Or does it have to be
so I have an
specific?
adapter that allows
Like are they
people with those.
universal? Is my question.
No, they're different.
Will it park itself?
Yeah, it'll do. So it'll do both parallel and perpendicular.
Wow.
It has to spot the spot.
Right.
So you drive up alongside a spot, and then when you put it in reverse, it'll offer up a parking spot. You hit the button, and it'll do it.
Oh, wow. That's so crazy. I can't believe that.
So the other thing that the car does is
What? What is that?
Oh, it videotapes your drive.
That's me!
That's crazy.
That's creepy.
Can you access those while you're driving?
no.
That's so creepy. But pretty cool.
Trying to figure it out.
We gotta figure out how to open the door. That's funny.
You actually figured it out pretty quickly. A lot of people are just like totally
I've
overwhelmed.
seen videos and stuff.
Okay.
Who? No, service-wise, you just got to do brakes. That's pretty much it. Brakes and tires. And, like,
Tires.
there's no oil changes or anything.
Part of the pleasure of this car
Yeah.
means it's going to cost you tires.
That's about it.
Yeah. I mean, some people get 30 or 40,000 miles on tires. I don't.
Right. Just,
I'd rather pay for tires and enjoy the car.
Yeah.
Right.
The cost of tires is probably more than the cost of energy.
Makes sense.
It's about, I think, 4 cents a mile,
Yeah, yeah.
and energy is about 3 cents a mile.
Mhm.
Unless you're on a supercharger, and then it's more like 12 cents a mile. Superchargers, you use them so seldom that it's sort of irrelevant.
Are those bad for the batteries too?
No.
No.
How long do you keep a car?
I don't know. Like, yeah, 4 or 5 years.
These batteries are looking like they're about
That was
500,000
actually another
miles.
question I had. Is like the used market for these. Is that how long are they expected to last?
So everything is 500,000 to 1,000,000 miles.
Really?
They're gonna last a lot longer than a nice car.
Huh.
So
That's
so
not-
the
that's not
depreciation
anything I
curve's
would
going to be
expect.
very different.
Right.
It's basically like a refrigerator.
Yeah.
And it just runs.
It just goes. Yeah.
Doesn't have all this heat and lubrication, and I mean there's
A lot less moving parts on it.
a lot less moving parts. There is gear oil, and then
They
there's
do that every 50,000. 200.
200, I think.
Is it 200?
And then there's coolant, which I think probably also is every 200 or so.
Yeah.
And I think probably brake pads are probably 200.
200,000 miles.
Probably 200,000 miles, because right now I'm using the brakes.
Yeah.
This is right here. It shows you that I'm putting energy to the engine,
Yeah.
and then when I do that, the green shows regenerative. These
So you didn't use brakes at all, right there.
no, I don't. I don't. I only use the brakes so the car has a setting so that you can not touch the brakes
Yeah.
or touch the
What?
brakes. So and it'll show you, and it will engage the friction brakes after the regenerative brakes. So that's the regen. but it won't do full regen because the battery's cold, and it doesn't want to take that amount of energy. It's bad for the battery. So
Yeah.
the battery management system is basically saying only accept this amount, and then apply the friction brakes over that. So
Okay.
usually so I'm one pedal driving. Once you get used to one pedal driving and you get away from the pedal dancing, it's really, you don't like driving a car that doesn't have regenerative braking, because
That's
I'm
so
I'm
weird.
always, this is me just taking my foot off the gas
That's so weird.
pedal.
See, I thought that was just you on the
You
brakes.
braking, right? It
No,
doesn't- that's what
no.
it
If
feels
you
like.
watch my
That's
foot,
Way
there's,
smoother though than hitting the brake.
well, so you get used to it, and you can manage it smoothly because you know the neutral point.
Baby.
So right here is the neutral point,
Yeah.
and so I can feather off of the neutral point. When you get full regen, you need to feather more gently,
So I guess
or
that's
people will feel,
Yeah.
Yes.
the jerk
Oh,
thing.
I get it. I get it.
So that's how you get 200,000
See-
miles out of brakes.
That's how you get 200,000. So the car will put the brakes on at some point, and it'll show you. And you could hear it.
Right.
The
Right.
brakes got applied. And so, which is nice, because used to be, if you were on a hill, you take your foot off the accelerator, all it had was a coast mode, and the car would roll backwards. It's like standard
Like
car.
driving a manual car, yeah.
So weird. Though.
I'm really interested in the electric F-150 that they have.
That's what I told him.
That's going to be a really nice car. I think they're not going to be able to. So all of these, I would not invest in any of those manufacturers, because they're going to be
Like you said,
bankrupt
years
by
behind.
2027.
Right.
Ford's not going to be able. They made a great car, and they're not going to be able to deliver to the market.
Market it.
Because they don't have the
Originally,
research
they
and
planned.
the
Well, no. They
Just
don't have
match
supply
up with
chain.
the Tesla.
Oh.
Oh.
Their original plan was for 15 to 20,000 of those cars next year. Now they're trying to do 50, but I think the market wants 200
Yeah.
of those cars.
15,000 is nothing.
It's and so what's going to happen is like, are you going to wait 4 years for that truck?
No, you can buy the Tesla.
So they've got the opportunity, but they failed to
Meet the demand.
to figure out the supply chain. Here, I'll go back a little bit.
It yelled at me.
Yeah.
It's like, put your buckle on. That's funny.
Yeah, and this actually shows you
So-
how the car
That's
has
cool.
performed. So this one has 28,000 miles on it, and it gets a little bit more than 3 miles per kilowatt on average. My last 700 miles, it's done that's almost exactly 3 miles per kilowatt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the F-150 is going to cost a ridiculous amount of money too. I think it's like $70,000.
Yeah, but if you think about it, the car is likely to cost a whole lot less to run and maintain.
Yeah,
And all of that.
That initial investment is a bit of a scare factor, though.
Total cost of ownership is going to be cheaper on that car than a regular 150.
I guess, yeah. Because no maintenance really.
And one of the things that
That's
people
true.
don't really get until they've lived with an EV is you literally are done with the gas station experience.
Mm.
The gas station experience is only something that you have when you're traveling.
What? And you got to plug into something. Yeah.
You have to go to one of those. You have to go to one of those destination chargers, or superchargers.
Right.
But otherwise,
You're just
it's
charging at
a
home.
cell phone
Yeah, you're
experience.
charging at home.
Yeah.
That's very more convenient.
So you never, like, you get this mindset where you're never serving the car anymore, and that's why we don't follow Tesla's route plan, because if you got to wait 40 minutes, if you have a 40-minute stop and your break is typically 15 to 20 minutes, that means 20 minutes of waiting for the car.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's actually a pain.
Yeah.
Going to the gas station means standing next to the car while its needs are being filled. It's sort of like the joke of, aliens come to Earth and they go up to the first dog and say, "Take us to your leader," because clearly the dog's, leading and picking up their mess is the dog's slave.
That's
We
funny.
are slaves to our cars. We are slaves to this whole, like, oh, my car is empty. I got to go to the gas station. I forgot to do it tonight, so I got to get up early and leave for work early so that I can get gas and not run out of gas on my way to work.
Showing up while you're sleeping.
You wake up in the morning and it's ready to go. And in fact, you can set this car up so that it's scheduled to be fully charged, so the battery will be warm. And you can actually schedule it to preheat the cabin, so the cabin will be warm, or pre-cool
Wow.
it. So the car will. Liz leaves at 8:45, so I have her car and even this loaner set to be full by 9 o'clock.
Right.
And so it'll be full and warm by the time she gets to the car.
Crazy.
And the user experience,
it sounds a lot more pleasurable than.
it is astonishing.
Yeah.
Wow. I want one.
So, and you guys figured out the exit button
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Or
I
did
We
you?
did.
No. That's so.
What?
So, it may cause damage to the window trim.
How do I get out?
It's the button.
The button?
Yeah.
Oh.
What did you do, sir?
I opened the door.
There's an
Handle.
emergency
Just push
relief.
it? Oh, there's a.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, for the front one.
That's
figured out the
crazy. All right, we gotta go to Buffalo, Casey.
So,
That was pretty cool.
That was
Nice
cool.
meeting
Thank
you.
Nice,
Ted.
nice to meet you.
That was awesome.
good to see you. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Great experience for sure.
Cool.
These are definitely enthusiast vehicles.
They
Yes.
are. I like it. Cool. Thanks, Ted.
Yep. You can go up the back way if you want. See ya.